Week 10, we made it. The Mush, Corey Gibson, Adam Gorney, John Garcia Jr. We are back. Apologies. The last week we did terrible. 3-7, 4-6. Actually, John did well. I mean, John was almost got to 500, but he's chipping away at the overalls. What do I got here, John? I got you at 43 and 56, and Gorney and I are still, for some reason, tied at 47 and 52. So we're making our way down. We're doing our thing. Not a lot of luck. It was a humble week, as we would say. But let's get it going. Notre Dame going to Clemson. Clemson gets 3 points.
Yeah, so starting off with a bang here. I actually am very interested in this game just to see how Clemson responds. I'm sure Tyler from Spartanburg is also very interested in how Clemson is going to respond here. His girlfriend put Tyler in his place, said, he should keep his mouth shut. And, you just can't have those kind of things. In terms of the numbers, Notre Dame's been great on the road, 18-4 straight up last 22 games, 13-3 last 16 games. Clemson, though, 15-3 straight up last 18 games at home. There's a sharp bet on Clemson. The line started actually -4 and has gone to +3, even though there's been a flip situation here. So the money and the sharp bet is on Clemson. I'm going to take this as a situation of it can't get worse for Clemson, so it's going to get better. Everyone hates Clemson, and everybody thinks Notre Dame can go in there and throttle them. I just don't see it happening. I'm going to take Clemson at home plus the points.
Yeah, I don't know if I see Notre Dame coming in there and beating them up really well, but going in there and getting a win on a noon kickoff, I think seems really possible for Notre Dame. Look, they're going to be able to slow down the Shipley, Phil Maffa battery. So it's going to come down to Cade Klubnik versus Sam Hartman, and both of those guys have a lot of talent. I'll probably just roll with the guy who has the most experience, and that's obviously Sam in this case. Neither receiver core is setting the world on fire, and both defenses are good. So I'd probably take the under more comfortably than any point situation with the spread, but I'll take Notre Dame. I just think they're the better team this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame as well. I rode them all the way to this record, and I went against them at USC, and I paid for it. They were mad, and I paid for it, and I'm going to stick with Notre Dame. Sam, the veteran, even though he shaved the beard, and all the ladies are pissed, but I'll still take him with the 3 points. So Ohio State going to Rutgers, big line here, 18.5.
Yeah, this looked like a guaranteed Ohio State bet in years past when they had an offense that could score at will, but that has not been the case recently. I think we saw it last weekend at Wisconsin, but Wisconsin is definitely still different than Rutgers. I don't love the line here, but Ohio State might be in a little bit of trouble. I thought it was kind of ridiculous to have them one in the country with the way that they've been playing on offense. I just don't see it. But in this situation, I think Rutgers gets overwhelmed. Rutgers has been playing better, but Ohio State has too many horses. Even though 71% of the bets are on Ohio State and the line is kind of marginally dropped here, I'm still going to take the Buckeyes because this could be a 42-10 kind of situation as well.
Yep, I'll co-sign, retweet all of that. I just think that the Rutgers offense won't be able to move the ball very well against this defense at Ohio State. And yeah, at some point, they're getting healthier. Can they get to 35 comfortably? It seems like you said, Adam, that hasn't been a guarantee compared to years past. So maybe this begins that trend a little bit for OSU. I'll take the Buckeyes as well.
Yep, I will take Ohio State. Even though I kind of joked that the line was big, I was hoping the line would be bigger so I could take Rutgers at home, but it's just not. It's not scary enough. Even though I agree with you, Gorney, like that offense. I'm actually surprised they're number one, and I've never been the biggest fan of Ohio State this year. They're a good football team, but 18.5 is not scary. So give me the Buckeyes.
What I don't understand about that ranking is that Georgia has won two national championships in a row. They are undefeated this season, and Ohio State has not looked great and on offense, and they escape at Notre Dame. Penn State had the ball to tie it up late, and they're still number one. So
yeah,
I just don't get it.
And Carson Beck's been a lot better for Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah,
month or so. He's starting to line it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
All right.
We move on. Texas A&M going to number 10, Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is favored 3 points.
Yeah, this is a sneaky good game. Probably one I'm going to watch just to see, Lane and Jimbo go at it a little bit. What I love in this game is the under. Every trend is going to the under, and you think it would be opposite, but I do think Texas A&M's defense is going to come to play against a very talented Ole Miss offense. And I just don't think Max Johnson and that offense can really move the ball against anybody. So under in seven of the eight previous matchups, that's the under has hit. 5 of the 6 last times. I am stumbling through this, but that A&M has gone to Ole Miss, it's been under. And 7 of the last 8 times that Texas A&M has played a football game, it's been under. So I like the under here. I think that kind of lends toward Texas A&M. There's a sharp bet on them. It's a flip situation where the public loves Ole Miss here, but the money, some big money is flowing in on the Aggies. I love the under. If I had to make a bet on which side I'd take, I would take the Aggies +3, but I don't love it.
Yeah, this is a close one, no doubt. Obviously, the coaching antics will be a story in and of itself. But look, Ole Miss has been really good at home. I think I've bet against them 2 or 3 times at home already this year, and I probably lost all of those. So I'm just going to go against that one more time, and I'll say, hey, Ole Miss at home, much better than I've anticipated all year. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Jackson Dart, as a passer, gets it done, and 3 points isn't too much to ask.
John, you're learning the home team theory right there. I love to hear it. And my pick. I'm going home, Ole Miss, and the line's not very scary to me at 3. I know Texas A&M's a sneaky good football team, but number 10 in the country should not be having lines that close unless you're playing in Arizona. But that's my favorite line every week now. But anyways, give me Ole Miss. Okay, Kansas State going to Texas 4. 4 points.
Yeah. Interesting game here because Kansas State might be sneaky really good. Has had some blow-ups this season that probably shouldn't have happened. Looked really good last weekend against a Houston team who we'll talk about later in my lock of the week. And in a game that the bets, the number of bets are basically split in half, this line has dropped from 9.5 to 4.5. So someone pretty sharp has come in here on Kansas State and laid a lot of money. If Quinn Ewers was playing, I would not be surprised if this line stayed at 9.5. At 4, I think this was a perfect middle situation to get it early at 9.5, and then in at the 4 because you have special numbers in there, 6 and 7, that are perfect. I'm going to take Kansas State here, and I might regret this very much later on if Malik Murphy can deliver. But Kansas State's just one of those teams that kind of grinds and drags and will be well prepared for a quarterback without a lot of experience. And Kansas State is 5-1 in their last 4-1 in their last 5 games against the spread. So don't love it, but I'm going to take Kansas State here.
Yeah, this could be a similar game to that Texas A&M Ole Miss one. I think the under is the more comfortable play. I think both teams will try to run the ball and play good defense. I've talked about Texas being underwhelming at home a little bit. I think Murphy probably played better than I expected last week, considering BYU was my lock of the week. So I'm not going to get burned by Texas twice. I'll take Texas at home. That line has dropped, and that has made me more comfortable with this pick. But no doubt, Kansas State is like the best team that nobody talks about.
Yeah, I don't know. This was a toss-up game for me. I was actually going to ask you guys: Is Avery Johnson is he kind of the full-time guy? I haven't really got to watch too much Kansas State this year, but I loved him at Elite 11 last year.
He's been kind of in and out, but they've been using him more. So because he's such an athlete, they use him in certain places when I've seen. But I would not be surprised to see him more this weekend if they spread it out, if they want to run, if they want to get the numbers right. I think he can play more. Will Howard just throws too many interceptions. That's what drives me crazy about him. So I think that they're going to use the 2. We'll see, and then kind of go from there. But they can run the ball. I mean, both quarterbacks run really well. Giddens is a very good runner, so I think Texas is going to have their handful stopping the run, and then when they don't run, they could kind of chunk it down the field a little bit.
Yeah, I'll take Kansas State here. I mean, the line's okay, and I do like Avery. I like what they do with the offense. Texas, I'm kind of with you, John. No matter what I do, they're part of my hit list of like I can't pick them, so I'll just stick with my gut. I guess we'll just figure it out next week. Okay. Number 9, Oklahoma is going to Oklahoma State. And do I have that right? Just Oklahoma State the favorite? I don't think that's right.
Nope. Oklahoma -6.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
Yeah. Bedlam, the last Bedlam, I think. I think this will be the last one, maybe forever, maybe for a very long time. That's sad. It's always a fun series, but it has been dominated by Oklahoma, and that's the way I'm going again. Oklahoma State's 18-4 in their last 22 games at home. They are playing much better, much better than they had earlier in the season when it looked really sort of like Mike Gundy was losing control a little bit. They looked terrible against South Alabama. They lost to Iowa State. But since then, since that bye week, whether it was giving Ollie Gordon the ball more coming out of the backfield, and he has been phenomenal, or just adjustments that they've made. Mike Gundy's a smart coach. Just ask him. They beat Kansas State. They beat Kansas. They beat West Virginia. They blew out Cincinnati last weekend in a bet that I really wanted to make, and I didn't make, and I'm mad at myself for it. And this is the perfect situation. Oklahoma blows it at Kansas last week. Looked horrible in that game. Didn't look very good the week before against UCF. And so I think this is the bounce back time. This is going to be a close game, hard fought. Both teams are, very talented. Oklahoma State is playing better at the moment, but I'm going to side with Oklahoma here just because of history.
Gorney, you got a forecast for me Saturday for this one?
Yeah, let me call up.
I'm with Oklahoma. Yeah, look, like you said, Oklahoma State is playing a lot better. Ollie Gordon is the best player that people don't know about. He's got 1,000 yards seemingly in the last few weeks. And look, Kansas was able to run the ball very well on an improved OU defense last week. So it does create a little bit of pause for me. But like Gorney said, this goes back to the rivalry. You're going to get the residual OU bounce back effort in this one as well. And I believe it's not snowing. So all of those factors lead me to believe Oklahoma can cover this 6-point margin. Gorney, can you confirm?
Yes, no snow. It will be 75, and with a mild breeze of 11 miles an hour. So at kickoff, which will be 12:30 Pacific, 2:30 local, it will be 73 with no clouds in the sky. Perfect football weather in November.
Yeah, Boomer Sooner that pick for sure.
Yeah, I'll agree with you guys. I'm going Oklahoma. That's a good football team, and after week 1 when they proved us all wrong, I can't go against them now. So, all right, Missouri is going to Georgia. Georgia only 2 points.
No, 14.5 points.
Wait, where are my lines I'm getting today? I'm off.
You are off.
I got 15.5. I'm sorry.
Are we playing 14.5 or 15.5?
On the Yahoo Sports app, it says 15.5.
All right. I don't care.
So we'll go 15.5.
I don't care. I'm taking Georgia. Missouri has had a nice season. Missouri is playing very good football. Missouri gets Williams and Warney, loses out on Ryan Wingo. They blew out South Carolina the last game. They looked great at Kentucky 2 weeks ago, but we now know Kentucky is a fraudulent football team. Their only loss this season is to LSU by 10, and that wasn't even that much of a distance because LSU had a pick 6 or a fumble recovery for a touchdown to cover that spread. But this is Georgia at Georgia, this early CBS game before LSU Alabama, and Georgia throttles in this game. They always have, and they always will. Missouri's offense has never seen something like this defense that they're going to see on Saturday. I feel this is 31-10. I'm taking Georgia.
Yeah, this spread would have had to get up to the 20s to make me sweat a little bit. Like we said earlier, Carson Beck is quietly lighting it up, even without Brock Bowers last week. Really like what that offense has become. And obviously that defense is still, the premier program in the country. So I like what Missouri's story has been. That offense is going to throw the ball well enough to maybe hang around for 2 or 3 quarters, but Georgia will hammer that defense with its running game, and then Carson Beck off of that. So, yeah, comfortable with Georgia, especially at home. Missouri feels different on the road this season, so I'll take the Dogs.
Yep, I'm going the Dogs as well, sticking with my rules. You guys have said all the right points, but my rules are my rules. I'm going Kirby, and we move on. All right, Purdue is going to Michigan. Big line, 32.5.
Yeah. I don't know how much tape Michigan has of Purdue. I mean, probably a whole lot, just a tremendous amount. And, Jesse Minter, Michigan's defensive coordinator, is probably the smartest football coach in the country. I mean, he knows the play even before it's going to happen. It's just incredible how good they are, how prepared they are is just incredible. Now, I don't know if the Stallions creep was on the sidelines of any Purdue games with some weird glasses on with a light. I just don't know what's going on here. But Michigan is going to come to play in this game. I guarantee it. Now, Jim Harbaugh said this week he has a one-track mind. So for a guy who is going to, potentially be in the hottest water that the NCAA can provide him, and is maybe looking for an offshoot to the NFL, a one-track mind for a guy, a multi-millionaire, one of the smartest people in the game, someone who has his staff just so prepared, watching so much tape. There's an incredible amount of tape coming out of Ann Arbor these days. I'm going to take the Wolverines. Purdue is a bad football team. They're 1-4 the last 5 times they've played Michigan. They're 1-5 in their last 6 games. They just don't have any firepower. And Michigan, for some odd reason, is circling the wagons here, and is not hiding with what is becoming so incredibly obvious. So I'm going to take Michigan here. They probably win 42-0, but I would not be surprised if Harbaugh tries to run this up a little bit and shove it up people's butts here. But what the news coming out of Michigan is really about integrity of the game stuff now. It is ridiculous. Jim McElwain doesn't even know who's on his sidelines. There's a guy in Central Michigan gear with sunglasses on with a light on them. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. The Big Ten coaches are on a call yesterday going, when is something going to happen to this program? I mean, why even play? If I was Purdue, I wouldn't even show up. It's so ridiculous. But even then, I will take Michigan in this game.
Yeah, look, Michigan, despite every week a new layer of this onion being, peeled back, just continues to dominate as maybe the best team in the country for many, many reasons. Look, that defense is legitimate. Yes, they haven't played anybody, but that offense is really good as well. I'm with Gorney on this one. The number couldn't be high enough, especially at home in Ann Arbor. We won't find out much about Michigan until the weather gets a little bit colder. So I'll take Michigan until we get to that point.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard. I'm ready for the movie to come out in like 10 years, show our kids the Stallion TV, like a 30 for 30 or something. It's going to be electric, like a Jack Ryan style, Like I can't wait. Everything about this just seems so made up. I love it. I love it. And like you said, I'll go Michigan. Purdue looked so bad last week, and they broke my heart against Nebraska, and they're not going to, especially going to the big house, and the fans will be behind everyone. That'll be an easy line to cover.
Yeah.
Okay. The Mush's kryptonite here, our most hated team, USC. But Washington is going to USC, and SC sadly gets points. I don't know what to do. Should we just call it a bye week for us? I don't know. I don't know how we should play
What
this.
What is the over-under in this game? I am wondering.
I have, oh my gosh, I have 76.5.
Wow.
Okay. So
is it a 7-on-7 game? No defense?
This sounds absurd considering that Cal scored 49 last weekend. So the over-under in that game to hit the over would have been 100 points. So, but the under the last 2 teams times the last 5 times these 2 teams have played, it's gone under, which is just incredible to think. And if you look at 76.5, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the analytics say that there will be only 2 punts in the entire game. If you get 2 punts, you'll get the under. If every other possession is a touchdown, it'll be the over. So I like the under here, which is incredible. But I'm gonna take Washington. I just have to. I mean, if Cal can score 49, USC can score basically at will, but Washington is at least the semblance of a very good football team. There is a sharp bet on USC here. I just don't get it. I just don't see it. It is a potential flip situation too, because the public likes Washington a lot. I don't care about, the home field advantage. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think Washington is the better football team. They have the better defense. They honestly might have equal or better of an offense. I don't know. I like the under the most, which sounds just insane even thinking about it, but I'm going to take Washington here.
Yeah, I'm obviously over USC. No team has screwed me more in the picks this year than the good old men of Troy. So look, 3 points I thought was actually generous. I thought the line would be a little bit stronger towards Washington. I thought it would be 6 or 7. So 3 certainly doesn't scare me. I do see a competitive game here breaking out between 2 great offenses. It's just I don't see the USC defense making that one play that you need to make if it does become a shootout. So by the benefit of the doubt, I'll go with Washington and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, John, you actually said it. Like, I thought the line was gonna be. Did SC just like give up? I mean, last week was just like I didn't watch the game, but every time I check the score, it's like, are they not playing? I mean, is it real? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't know.
Quarterback for Cal too.
Yeah. Fernando Mendoza, as I write tomorrow, is not Tom Brady, and he threw 2 touchdowns, rushed for 2 others, and after the first quarter, Jaden Ott, who's very talented, but come on, was on pace for 800 yards rushing and like 12 touchdowns.
It was great.
I just don't get it. Lincoln just obviously doesn't care about defense and is not serious about it. So he's going to try to outscore people. That's why I'm so hesitant on even considering this under. But Washington might not try to get into a shootout with them. It'll be interesting to see how Washington tries to play this. I would probably just stay away, but if I have to make a pick, I'll take the Huskies.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to go Washington. I mean, obviously with the personal record, you have to take them. I always said all year Penix is going for it, and now that he gets to play Caleb Williams, he's going to try to put up some stupid numbers, and they're going to run it. So, yeah, Washington. I can't wait for that score. Anyways. All right, LSU is going to Alabama. Alabama for 3.
Yeah, game of the week here. Very, very interesting line. Very interesting game. This is a payback situation for Alabama, which I love for Saban. Just one of those games that I want to watch and not have to bet. LSU likes to score points. They're 5 for 5 over on the road. 5 for 5 over in their last 5 games. But the number that just keeps coming back to me is Alabama is 23-2 in their last 25 games at home. So if I'm going to lose this bet, it's either by 2 points because they're -3, or they're bucking a massive trend of 23-2 at home. What scares me is that 70% of the bets are on Bama, and the line has dropped from 7-3. So Vegas is baiting you into an LSU or into an Alabama bet here, but I'm going to take the bait. I'm taking Bama at home, -3. Jaden Daniels might just go off and win the Heisman. Who knows? But I'm gonna make him do it on the road. So I'm gonna take Bama.
Yeah, this would certainly be the showcase game for Jaden, but he did it last year at LSU. But it just feels different. I think all the things you mentioned, the trends, Bama at home, revenge game, Saban, LSU. I mean, all of this screams Bama will figure out somehow a way to win by more than 3 points here. So the more I talk about it, I'm just going to go against all of the analytics and go against all of the X's and O's and say, even though LSU's offense can score at will, Bama's secondary hasn't really been elite this year. Bama's offense is still kind of a question mark. All of those things tell me to say, take LSU or maybe sneak into an Alabama pick. Throw all that out the window. The human is back, and we're going to go Alabama at home -3, lock of the week. Saban's not going to lose to Brian Kelly 2 years in a row, especially back at home. So, yeah, Roll Tide big in this one. Maybe double digits in this game.
Dang, you heard it first. Lock of the week. John, I have to admit, I was going to make a joke saying, all right, John, tell me why I should pick LSU, because it just seems like you're always on the LSU. And you always prove to us why LSU, and you're always right about it. But I'm happy that, like you said, I'm happy that you're finally listening to the hometown and to Corey's rules. And that's why we go Alabama. And, Gorney says all the fancy stuff, but the listeners know. The listeners know you stick with the Corey rules, the Joe rules, and you always go with Saban, especially at home. But I'm just more shocked, John. I'm just more wrote down LSU before he even started talking.
We got to learn from our mistakes, right? I was in like a 25-game bowl, and that's part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, exactly. All right. Miami is going to NC State, 5.5.
Yes, another very interesting game here. One that I actually might watch if nothing else is on, just to see how NC State bounces back, how Miami plays on the road. I don't know if any asses will be kissed, like Dave Doran told Steve Smith to kiss his last week. But Miami has not played really well the last 2 weeks, even though they have 2 wins. They could be 4-4 right now. They had to go to overtime against Clemson, which is not a shame at all, but that was not necessary. And then Virginia just played really, really well against them, and Miami played very poorly. NC State is coming off a very good win. Miami is coming off 2 very close wins. They go on the road. I'm taking Miami here, -5.5. I just think they have more talent.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're getting out of Miami. Like you said, Gorney, it's been, you can't even quantify. They beat Clemson with a true freshman QB, and then the longtime QB comes back at home against Virginia, struggle win and a half. So it's been funky with the U. That defense is really good. They can stop the run, so I think MJ Morris is going to have to throw it a little bit for NC State, but I like the Wolfpack defense as well. They should have beat Louisville about a month ago, and they've sort of turned the corner since dumping Brennan Armstrong. So it's going to come down to MJ Morris, maybe, one drive to win it kind of deal. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt at home as well. Let's play the Corey rules. More so, though, because I don't trust Miami.
Yeah. Miami honestly terrifies me on the road. I have no idea, even this game. And the coach hyped me up last week. I'm going with the coach. He got me hyped, that we are not a basketball school, and that's why I'll take NC State. Probably one of the greatest lines so far this season, though. Just like
but they're really not a basketball
ESPN
school. They're not really a football school either. I mean, what? No,
right. They've had a good baseball program the past couple of years, but I didn't want to be the one to tweet that out at them.
They're a baseball school, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of draft picks. All right. Oregon State is going to Colorado, 13.5.
Yeah, Colorado is banged up bad. I mean, that's how I just sort of look at this game. I mean, Oregon State is really well coached, and Colorado is banged up. I mean, Shedeur is getting injections after UCLA just completely brutalized them last weekend in that backdoor cover, which we will not talk about because it was very frustrating in the Gorney house Saturday night when that happened. But I think Oregon State might roll here. Colorado has no offensive line. Dion admitted it. They can't run the ball at all. They're incredibly one-dimensional. And now their quarterback is all juiced up because he's getting smashed every play. Plus, Oregon State, let's not forget, is a pretty damn good football team here. So I'm going to take Oregon State. All the trends and lines are looking favorable. If there's anything that sticks out to me, the over has hit a lot in this matchup. But again, that's against a Colorado team that hardly was FBS level. So as I die here, Jesus, excuse me, I'm going to take Oregon State. And John, you can talk while I get resuscitated.
I got you. Gorney tells us don't go against the Beavers here. Look, Oregon State's been really good. Colorado, it's just, it's a war of attrition. And this overhauled, portal-driven roster looks depleted. they're there, but are they really there? I'm just not sure how they can get through 60 minutes against a physical team that's going to run the football and play off of that. So Colorado's defense will play about 70 snaps in this game, and I think Oregon State can control it all the way through. This is an easy cover for DJU and the crew.
Yeah, normally, because we've been always talking about my rules, I always say Colorado at home. But I didn't like the comments that Dion made about what's new, the O-line, or he made some comments. It's like if I was an O-lineman, I don't know if I would bounce back super fast from those kind of comments. And I think the team, I don't know. I mean, it has real eerie feeling, and they're Shadur and Travis are now at basketball games. They're saying hi to LeBron. I think they're almost kind of getting checked out. They had the hype at the beginning of the year. Now it's towards the end. Just get me to the draft or figure out what's next in life or whatever. But I don't know. Just Colorado got some weird feelings about them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think to dovetail off that point, what Dion did is risky. You go and you change your entire roster with guys who can come in for 1 or 2 and then go to the NFL. Feels very much what happened to Calipari at Kentucky in basketball. When your entire roster is one and done guys, they don't give a crap about the Kentucky season. They're just trying to look as good as they can for the NBA, and something similar might be happening. We'll see if they bounce back, but like you said, Travis Hunter's, at Denver Nuggets games, and Shador's banged up, and he's sitting there saying his offensive line sucks and he's going to go out and get new ones. Okay, fine. But Oregon State rolls, I think.
Yep, I agree. All right, we made it. Final pick of the week. UCLA going to Arizona. They do it again, baby. 3 every week. They keep that line close, and they know how to do it. Our boy Noah. Every week, Gorney, we say it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go against the dog.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible that we. I'm not going to say we knew that he was going to do this so fast, but we knew he was a big time player, a playmaker. He's incredibly comfortable with T-Mac. They're high school teammates. And what he's been doing has been very impressive. The trend in this game is the under. And I can buy that because, 51 against Oregon State last weekend would have been the under. And now, UCLA is an interesting school. I'm going to take Arizona here, and then I'll explain why. They have a 5-star quarterback that they essentially benched, I think, for Ethan Garbers, who then they moved to the bench for somebody else. They don't know what they're doing on offense. They want to admit it or not. They just don't. So in the desert at night again, I think we see a complete replay of last week against Oregon State. Arizona is very good there. The crowd can kind of get into it there. I don't know if UCLA can figure it out on offense. I'm sort of not surprised. I'm sort of surprised that this number isn't Arizona -3. So I'm going to take Arizona plus the points, and then just live with my decision if UCLA comes in and plays really, really well.
Yeah, look, strength versus strength, right? UCLA's defense, Arizona's offense. Honestly, I was like, if this is a late kick Pac-12 after dark scenario, I'm going Wildcats. If it is a, ABC, noon, 3:30 Eastern kind of game, probably go UCLA and go with the convention. The later the kick, the more we're pushing towards Arizona, and they're at home, and it's a 10:30 Eastern kick for me. So I will fall asleep rooting for the Wildcats in this one.
Yeah, I got to go Arizona here as well. I mean, the funny part is, I think they've actually won some of those games. We always hype them up, but they just cover. That's all they do for us is they cover. I mean, Noah finds a way to keep it close or whatever, but it's I agree, Gorney, with you. I don't know what's going on at UCLA. I saw them personally. It's a boring team. I think last week they did that cool T wishbone thing that got the internet all hyped because Chip Kelly's got something up his sleeve. But I don't know. It just Arizona's a fun team. They're playing well. Everyone's, you could just tell the team's all behind Noah, and it's at home, which I love. So also I think I put the wrong line. Is it UCLA favored? Yeah, it's actually Arizona gets the points. So I am a mess today. Jesus. All right. So that's it. We go locks of the week. John, you said Bama. You're gonna take that. Gorney, what you got? Tell me a story.
Yeah. Let me paint a picture here for you in the Baylor-Houston game.
Oh, Baylor.
Not exactly a thriller here, but Baylor, Dave Aranda is known as a defensive coach, but he has not shown up recently. Iowa State, not exactly an offensive juggernaut, scored 30 against them last week. Cincinnati, a bad offense with Emory Jones, bad offense, wins 32 points. The Texas Tech, not exactly a phenomenal offense, 39 points. They needed a miracle to come back against UCF. They scored 6 points against Texas. They lost to Texas State. So that's where we're sitting with Baylor. And Houston is not much better. But here's the scenario. Baylor can't run the ball, but Houston can throw it. And Houston will win this game because what concerns me is that Baylor can't run it, but Houston gives up big yardage on the ground. And the trend in this game is toward Baylor. But Baylor can't throw it at all. They can throw it, but they can't get it in the end zone. And they can stop the pass, but they can't stop passing touchdowns. There's a 12-7 disparity between opponents and them. They've only scored 7 passing touchdowns all year. Houston with Dana Holgorsen will score points in this game. I'm not sure Baylor will be able to move the ball. I'm taking Houston, and it's a big flip situation. And I've been great on lock of the weeks. So my other lock of the week, Air Force Army under. Always Service Academy unders. So those are the 2 lock of the weeks. Bet them both.
I was going to say that's my lock right there. I mean, it's not the under, but I'm joining the Air Force hype train. I mean, Army, I think, if I looked right, has scored 14 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
So at 18.5, that at home, like you said, it's going to be under, but Air Force looks really good right now. And I like a team that always likes to cover. Texas State, I don't even know why I took them last week. Just did horrible for me, but I'm going to join the Air Force hype train. Give me Air Force at home against Army. So,
yeah, the Air Force Army under it's 31.5, and Air Force is minus 18.5. So Vegas is not putting a lot of trust into that Army offense.
No way. But Air Force is still running the triple ops. Like I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and is Army went away? I get confused.
Yeah,
Army
they still
went away
run it sometimes, but they're trying to throw the ball a little bit more, but it's not working. So essentially, it's still a Service Academy game where there'll be a lot of running. And 31.5 doesn't scare me. 31.5 isn't even the lowest total of the week. It's Northwestern Iowa, I think, is 20. Last I saw it was 29.5, which is just embarrassing. I mean, just really embarrassing.
We always know it's going to be Iowa. Sadly, we talk about it in this podcast. You know, and when Iowa plays, that line's always going to be crazy low.
Yep.
So, all right, that's it. Another week of the Mush, week 10. Corey Gibson, Adam Gorney, John Garcia Jr. Please follow us on all the platforms. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll ask the experts your questions, and we will see you guys next week.